Broski duro, podokyo asu to yokoso. Sore wa Adrian desu. Kore wa KIKO desu. Watashi wa DJ BJ desu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Welcome to the Broski Doodle podcast with your host, KIKO Cervantes, featuring Adrian Fear, and yours truly, DJ BJ. Thank you very much for joining us.
Another episode of Movie Review with the Crew. Hey, movie review with the crew.
Review with the crew. Hey, movie review with the crew.
Hey, the crew.
Hey.
Hey.
So what we're doing today? What we're reviewing today?
We are reviewing a Japanese flick, part of the Sundance Festival called Drive My Car, currently available on HBO Max. It was very interesting, and let's get into it.
Yeah, this is part of the series that we got for the Oscar movies. I'll be honest with you, I'm doing this, and we're doing this for you guys because these Oscars movies, they're peculiar. They're peculiar.
Weird.
And they're weird. And I mean, I don't want to. As you notice,
Definitely weird.
As you notice, one of our Broski Doodles, John, opened up the program with Japanese because we're honoring the Japanese culture. I really wanted to like this movie because I love the Japanese culture. I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I know a bit, and I really like the type of like character that they are. Like in the war, they had to drop nuclear bombs on them because they wouldn't surrender. They were like, "Nah, dog, we're to our death." And it's like, samurai.
Yeah, all about honor.
Well, you were eating sushi right now before we started the podcast, DJ BJ.
Yeah.
So it's all about the Japanese culture, I jerked off 17 times the other day, which is something. It's like a Japanese thing too. So I mean, we're trying to keep it.
One of them was bukkake, so it counts,
yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's also a Japanese thing. Yeah, they're also big on like sexual things, but that's not even what the episode's about. So the movie's called Drive My Car. It's 3 hours long. And bro, I'm gonna start off, right? What I'm seeing a lot with these Oscar movies is that it's not that they're bad movies, it's that they're twice as long as they should be. This happened the same. We didn't do a specific. Well, Adrian and me, we did one of the first episodes of the movie review with the crew. Is The Power of the Dog, and that movie is actually also on the Oscars. And it's not that the movie was horrible. I see a lot of parallels with these two movies. Is that it's so long for the story that you're telling me. It needs to be shorter. And maybe I'm wrong. I want you guys to give me your opinion. Maybe I'm wrong with what a movie should be. But for me, a movie should move me and it should get me interested in it. Grasps me. And I can't turn out. I'm so interested. I'm so invested in the story. And it seems that with this Japanese movie, I wanted to really like it, but it just was such a snoozer. So slow. What is your first reactions on this shit?
Dude, drive my car off a fucking cliff, bro. This movie was way too goddamn long. Please, I wanted so bad for the car to get into an accident, like at some point in time, just to have that.
Like just
Like you get an alternate ending. Movie just ends.
Oh man,
Dude, I had to watch it in 3 parts, 3 days in a row, 1 hour each segments. It's incredibly long. And I don't know if they're doing movies like that now for dramatic effect, but I really don't see. No le veo la gracia. Like I don't understand
no
why.
Le veo la gracia. That's a classic sentence from the South Florida region or many Latin American countries. No le veo la gracia. I don't see the point in it. And it's the same with me. And this is Adrian. You saw Power of the Dog, and we did an episode on it. It's almost like they want to show this artistic takes and scenes. But it's like, for me, if it's not part of a greater story that has an impact, that has a resolution, a climax, then I don't give a fuck. Like, a movie should be an artistic piece that hits you hard. And I feel like with this movie, there's some things that you can rescue, like the Japanese culture, the Japanese scenery, all that. But to me, bro, it's like those scenes are too long. Like I saw this movie in half the time, and what I was doing, because when I started watching this movie and I saw that at 40 minutes, that's when the introductional credits come in. Like that's when the movie's starting.
Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, the movie just started.
I was like, oh, I see what's gonna happen. So I was just speeding it up, and there were times where like there was just the guy driving the car, and he would go through the city for 5 minutes, just fucking no dialogue, and I would just speed. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't know what a movie should be, but this is not the type of movie that I like, and I really was rooting for it because I really wanted this to be like one of those podcast episodes where we're like, man, that Japanese shit is so foreign, it's so weird, but it was just like. And also the story, like, yeah, I get it at the end. He's like sad because he didn't want to lose the girl. And because of that, he let himself be a little bitch and not tell her shit. But it's like, bro, I don't know. Part of me was like, that's not, Japanese. I don't, the samurai wouldn't do that, It
was an hour and a half of just him listening to the tape.
Oh my god!
Right, and listening to the parallels of that story and the story of going on with his life. Of him trying to let go and feeling empty inside, but not being able to because he's madly in love with her. And dude, I was so pissed when he found out that she was cheating on him, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, I'm not gonna interrupt right now. I'm gonna see my way out. Don't mind me, guys. I was here."
Like, yo.
And like the whole time, I'm thinking that kid that she introduced him to was like gay or an android. He looked weird. He was too good. He was too good looking for a guy. He was like a robot. He was like, what the fuck? What are you? He's like, I'm whatever you want me to be,
They were definitely fucking though, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing.
Implied.
And then he still.
It never shows that there was them two, but it's implied.
Yeah, it's implied, and then he meets the guy, right? And they go out for drinks and shit. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Yo, why are you beating the fuck out of this guy right now, bro?
And the whole movie, I'm thinking at one point he's gonna be like, so why is it that you do this and I don't feel the raw? He's like, well, maybe you don't feel the raw because you fucked my wife. But he never ends up telling him. I mean, maybe at the conversation at the end, he sort of lets him know, like, I guess we kind of address, like, yeah, I fucked her, but we don't really say it. It's just weird. I'm thinking maybe this movie's gonna be good at the end. He's gonna take a knife and kill the fucking kid. But no, that doesn't happen. Then the kid, the actor that fucked his wife, ends up killing a guy because he took a picture of him. Has no relevance to the story. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know who the fuck is deciding that these movies win it on the Sundance festivals. Like, is it all like elitist pieces of fuck, I'm here like going. Is it like just this pretentious fuckers that are just like, oh yeah, this movie, because of the cinematography. Remember, guys, the cinematography. Maybe
cinematography.
I
don't know what. Rescue me. Tell me something. What? Because
I think it's because it's drawing the parallels between the tape and his life that a lot of critics are probably like, wow, the story's so deep and each character has their own dark backstory on how like this the side piece guy, on how he's like this fucking edgy person who is very impulsive and he's feeling empty inside and that's why he acted that way, and he has that backstory. And then the little cab girl, she killed her mom. She has a whole backstory to her too. Like, nobody can be normal in that movie. And so maybe critics see that and they're like, wow, this movie's so deep. Because if it's not that, I don't know what it could be. I don't see it.
I felt that character of the side piece guy, him killing the other guy, was necessary to push him into the fray of like having to choose between canceling the play or like self-fulfilling and becoming Vanya again, because he knew that he didn't want to be Vanya because it was so relatable to his own life, and it just brought back so many bad memories, and it took so much out of him to play it. And I feel like he chose the kid to be Vanya, almost so that he could see, so that he could force the kid to see, like what it's like to be him. You know, what it's like to be on the flip side of like, yeah, you're going out and getting these girls, but then who's on the other side of the coin? You know, like the husband or the guy, Vanya, Uncle Vanya, whatever in this case. And it, like for him, it was just so like it hurt so much because it was so real almost.
You think he wanted that guy to go in the role to also get like destroyed and some emotion?
It felt like a punishment. It felt like hell, like almost with for the kid to have to be that, and then like doing the rehearsals, them finally getting to the point where they're like starting to act it out, and he's like, nah, let's go back to reading again. I'm like, oh my, like I just wanted to stop right there.
Yeah,
it's funny that the kid never got into it. He's like, I don't understand this guy's character. Sorry, bro, not me. I just fuck bitches.
He's like, you're wishing the main character comes out and say, how don't you get it? You literally fucked my wife. How you don't get the concept of infidelity, you piece of shit? I don't know. I can never relate to this. I've never been in a situation where like infidelity was happening, even near me, even around me. Just I can't fathom a situation where I can relate to the fact.
I just felt
when they're in the scene where after they get into the accident, the kid and the girl, and then they're doing the scene in the studio, and they fuck up, and he's like, so why do you think you fucked up? I thought the girl was gonna say, oh, because we're like to get like we're doing shit and we're not supposed to because we're like actors and stuff. Like I found that like, oh, she's gonna say like, oh, because they're fucking, like they're gonna be that upfront about it.
Yeah, but I think that he talk to him later and sort of, because a lot of the things in this movie weren't said like outright. It's all like this.
A lot of things were like implied and or
implied, yeah. Or maybe
story, like,
you know what it could be too, the translation. You know, maybe there's things that you say in Japanese that don't translate completely, and the translation for us sometimes seems like it's an incomplete sentence, but maybe it isn't in Japanese. And that's the thing with languages, that some languages, it's not just that the words change, it's also that the way that they communicate changes. And something, when you translate it out right, to you it might sound weird, but in their culture that might be a way that they deal with shit. Like, you know those words that sometimes they say like, oh, this is a German word that means this, this, and this, and it's like a combined feeling of something that doesn't really exist in our language, that you will need to like make a sentence to describe that feeling. But Germans, you know, like feeling sorry for someone that got murdered with an Austrian axe in the Swiss Alps. That's a word for that in German type shit. Either that or the whole movie is the Japanese movie we're talking about is all about like implying shit and not saying things, because he tells the kid, right? He's like, oh, why did you fuck up? Like, choose wisely next time. And I felt that he was implying like, yeah, don't fuck your actors colleagues, because then that's gonna fuck up the chemistry or whatever.
Don't shit where you eat.
Yeah.
Don't fuck everything that walks.
Yeah, you motherfucker. Little cute face, little android. Don't be fucking everything that moves.
Thought you fucked my wife again.
And
so he hated him, but he also was jealous of him.
Bro, it was the weirdest shit. I thought he was gonna kill him at one point, like eventually. You know. Was
the husband jealous of the kid, or the kid jealous of the husband?
I think both ways.
Actually.
They were both jealous of each other. Wow.
I don't know, man. I think it is a movie worth watching again, just to see what the hype is about. Like, try and like draw the metaphor, because dude, it won so many awards. Maybe we're missing something.
What do you mean it won? Oh, like all the Sundance bro. I'm starting to think all those festivals that have weird names, like that's dude, it's not worth shit. Like,
it's won almost all the big awards. Cannes Film Festival for Best Screenplay, Golden Globe Award for Best Foreign Language Film, Japanese Academy Award for Newcomer of the Year, National Society of Film Critics Award for Best Actor, and for Best Picture, and for Best Director. New York Film Critics Circle,
It
Best
could be
Film.
the culture. Could it be that the culture in Japan sees this as a movie that works?
This is worldwide, though.
Maybe, like, I feel like it was very dramatic, the movie. Like the twists and the turns that you got from, like, the whole, like, the deepness of the character of the driver, with the whole, like, the wife be with the sign language and the Korean, and there's so many different actors from so many different, like, backgrounds from many different languages, and yet they were all able to play even sign language.
Does it feel like the movie had, because you're talking about a lot of things that are positives in the movie, like a lot of genuine scenes, they worked a lot in making it, like, not multicultural. It's not that they were trying to be woke, but just show the fact that there are mixtures in cultures. The Koreans and Japanese have things in common. The languages are similar. That's why. So it had so many things right, but then, and this is what happens with me with a lot of movies, that you have a lot of things right, but the most important thing, which is having a story that makes sense, is not there. And that fucks up all the other tricks you might have, like beautiful scenery, dramatic scenes. But if it doesn't have a fucking, like, essence, then it doesn't work. And let me give you an example of this. I think I've talked about this movie a lot. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's a movie that is all based in the dramatic scenes and characters. It has no story or defined story. So this will go against my theory in movies. I shouldn't like that movie because it doesn't meet the requirement of having a story. That's the only movie that I give it the exception, because the characters and the scenes are so cool that I can watch the movie knowing that it doesn't even have, like, a story, right? But that's the only movie that I can make that exception with. Every other movie, even if it's a shitty story, it has to be like, there has to be a story there for everything else to work. If there's no story, then all the other gimmicks, all the cinematography shit, all the fucking bells and the whistles and the dramatic scenes don't work for me, because there's nothing that gets me invested. And that's what I feel with this movie. It's like it has so many things that are cool, but that don't stick together. At least for me. Maybe like a theater student would be like, bro, you listen to the tapes and then, like, you get into, maybe I don't get this shit well.
Well, it is a love story. It's just, I don't know. I don't see the big hype in it. If it wasn't nominated, I wouldn't watch it. What?
It's like one of the worst episodes, because it's like I don't really have much to talk about except the fact that I felt so disappointed and my time was being stolen.
There were some characters that were out of place, like the sign language girl. I don't understand what her whole purpose was exactly. Like, why couldn't she talk? Like, why couldn't they pick an actor that spoke? Why make her?
And what are you trying to prove? Like, the audience doesn't know sign language. I guess it had a little projector with the letters on top. But dude, I know this is fucked up, but when I was seeing her, I was like, because we also watch Coda. It's one of the movies that we're gonna talk about. It's one of the episodes as well. And Coda, you're like, oh, this is so cool how they use, like, deaf people. And then when I saw it in this movie, I'm like, oh, I hate deaf people. Yeah, fuck this bitch. Like, I was so annoyed. I'm like, and they need to get faster. Like, make a language that's faster.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's some points that I want to bring up in Coda.
Okay. Well,
throwing up gang signs, it takes forever.
Yeah, it takes forever. So, I'll be honest, I normally have a lot more to talk about, but unless you have anything else, I think this episode is good. But do let me know if you got anything else, because I don't got much else for this movie.
I'll check my notes real quick. I don't really have much either, man. I thought maybe the movie took itself too seriously.
It had potential.
I thought the Japanese chick was fire, dude. The opening scene of them fucking, I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah. Go. When I saw those scenes, I was like, oh, these guys are going to be edgy. But then it didn't develop into anything. But yeah, and yeah, that Japanese girl was wild.
Yeah, bro. It makes me want to go to Japan.
My boy's gonna go Japanese
Well, for
shit.
everything, the women, the mountains, the buildings, all that shit looked cool.
Yeah,
So
everything
I do
looked
give him
gangster.
credit. I like seeing all of the cinematography. Cinematography. But yeah, I don't like a 3-hour version of that. I don't want to see a 3-hour slideshow. What else I got? I think we talked about everything. The sound quality was pretty good with everything. Like, you hear every little, like, bit of everything. That's it, man. Nothing deep. Nothing to
Yeah,
add to the story.
I think we can conclude that cinematography wise, yeah, it's really good. Good sound,
made.
good production, good frames, every scenes. But yeah, man, if you don't got a movie that fucking gets me invested, then I'm gonna snooze through it. And it could be that our IQ, gets to a certain level, like Step Brothers, old school movies. But yeah, I mean, my honest opinion, I don't think I'm too dumb, and I'll give this movie straight up a 4.
Damn.
And that's being nice. Like that 4 is for the, because I know they tried to do, like, I appreciate the actors. Like, there's a lot of things that I appreciate, but yeah, a 4 for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Oh, okay.
I think if the movie was an hour and a half long instead of the 3 hours, it would have been great.
It would have been a worthwhile movie.
Right.
Just like Power of the Dog. If that movie was an hour and 20 minutes, that's fine. Now you fucking put me to watch 3 hours of Montana mountains
Stars
and dead cattle, and I'm gonna fucking wanna kill myself. All right, well, we'll end it there. If you haven't watched the movie, don't watch it. If you watched it, give us your comments. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe you saw an angle that we didn't, and we are appreciative of your feedback. Subscribe to the thing, share it. Adrian, once again, thank you. John fucking left, or I don't know what happened to him, but he comes and goes. So thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Take care. Peace.